Hello and welcome to this brand new video. Today we'll look together at the results of the Trader of the Month contest for May, a month that was good for so many of our traders. We'll look together at which student did best overall, but also we'll look at the performances of those who didn't win but still achieved outstanding good results. We'll also try to give some trading tips and advice based on their direct experience in the markets over the past month. In practice, we'll see what worked best and try to replicate it for our live trading. Finally, I want to remind you that the Trader of the Month contest is reserved for Unger Academy students. Thanks to this contest, they can participate monthly by submitting their live results and competing to win a €1,000 Amazon gift card. One of the coaches at the Unger Academy here. And before we begin, don't forget to support us by subscribing to our channel, clicking the notification bell and leaving a like for this video. So let's get started. As I mentioned, it was a very positive month for our traders. We have statements with incredible performances. And among the first ones I want to show you is Marco, an old acquaintance who won the contest in February. He made a profit of $15,910, which is 39.10% on his initial capital, with a drawdown that we estimated to be around 50%. That's a pretty significant drawdown. Marco has a fascinating method. Let's say it's different from what we usually see. He has an aggressive risk profile but still manages to get some consistency in his results, trading mainly in futures on indexes, metals and currencies. And his activity is characterized by swing trading of short duration. Let's turn now to the statement of Alessandro, who has achieved fascinating results, especially if we compare the profit to the drawdown. Alessandro gained €15,921, which corresponds to a 16.78% return, which is about 4 times higher than the drawdown estimated at about 4%. We also see in this picture the equity line for the account, which is undoubtedly very regular, so a plus for Alessandro's performance. And as you can see from this statement, he's been mainly trading commodities. Then in the interview with us, Alessandro was very helpful and told us some of his story. He has been an Unger Academy student for over 3 years and went live for the first time in the second half of 2021. He got off to a tumultuous start, and in fact, his first advice was never to wing it. He reiterated the importance of having a plan, setting firm rules, and following them with discipline. To go into a little more detail, his initial difficulties were around portfolio management and in particular, which strategies to go live with and which to dump because they were not performing well. And he also told me he recently switched to Titan software to overcome those difficulties. His portfolio currently consists of 70 strategies developed using the Unger method. And for the selection of the systems to use in live trading each month, there were 30 in May. He relies on our proprietary Titan software. What instruments does Alessandro trade? Mainly futures and, where possible, micro futures. Because although they can certainly have a greater commission impact, and Alessandro can afford to trade larger futures, he prefers to use more systems to achieve better portfolio diversification. He also confirmed to me that he also trades options, particularly with our Iron Shark strategy, which gives him additional portfolio diversification, especially when the market is experiencing low volatility. So when it isn't moving much, and usually in such periods, trading systems tend to struggle a little bit more. He then confirmed that his live trading results since 2022 have been more than satisfactory, so he was definitely able to overcome the initial difficulties in managing the portfolio. It has a risk profile that I would describe as quite conservative. The statement shows that the drawdown is very tiny when compared to his performance. And when I asked him for some advice that might be useful for those approaching live trading for the first time, he told me to avoid over-exposition of any kind, also reminding me of his mistakes. So be careful about choosing systems, diversification and proper portfolio management. We now come to the statement of Giuseppe, another old acquaintance of ours, winner of the contest in March, who unfortunately didn't make this month despite remarkable achievements. He gained €7,779, which is a return of 22% on his initial capital, with a drawdown of only 2.3%. A pleasant, relatively even equity line, maybe a bit steps but with relatively low drawdowns. A maximum drawdown of 2.3% is nothing compared to the 22% return. For those who want to learn more about Giuseppe's trading style, you can watch our Trader of the Month video from March. But let's briefly summarize his trading achievements here. He has been a student at Unger Academy for 2 years and has been live since January 2023. He has many strategies in his portfolio and uses our $1 million database to enrich it. He also makes use of our software tools, especially Bias Finder and Titan. Among his workhorses, we have several trading systems on Nasdaq that have contributed significantly to his May performance. Giuseppe trades markets such as indexes, metals, currencies, and energy. He uses micro futures and focuses a lot on risk. He has a conservative risk profile, and his priority is to keep drawdown under control. And now on to Marco's statement, another very good trader. We see all his statements all months with pretty regular and consistent performance. I remember his interview in January. And that month, Marco made a gain of €30,738, or as much as 52.27%, with a small drawdown of 8.94%. The equity line is smooth, it becomes parabolic in the last part. So Marco has once again confirmed that he is a smart trader. If you want to learn more about his trades, I invite you to watch the January Trader of the Month video. In summary, I remember that Marco has put together a real development team consisting of 2 traders and a programmer. He's been doing algorithmic trading since 2021, uses the Younger method, and has a remarkable live performance. He certainly has a pretty aggressive approach to trading that isn't for everyone, although I have to say that he manages to keep the drawdown under control quite well. At this point, you may be asking yourself, but what did the winner do to surpass such performances? I'll show you in a moment. The winner for May is Tommy, who made a profit of 33.57%, or €44,251 with a drawdown of 2.9%. An incredible performance. Look at the regularity of the equity line. Truly remarkable. Who wouldn't like to have a month like that? So congratulations, Tommy. You've done an excellent job, especially if we consider that you've been our student for a very short time. Let's take a look at his performance. In particular, I'd like to point out to you a Sharpe ratio of 9.64, which is remarkable. Let's also take a look at where the majority of the returns are coming from. Specifically, we see the Nasdaq up 12.59% and crude oil up 7.13%. Tommy was very helpful and wanted to tell us his story. He's been a student at Unger Academy for less than a year and has been live since February 2023, so a really short time. He was already familiar with multi-charts in the sense that he already knew the platform. However, he was looking for an efficient setup. His difficulty was mainly in maintaining the infrastructure, which is certainly an important aspect when he decided to go live, and he found the answers he was looking for in Unger Academy. Tommy had a portfolio of 140 strategies, so it's an extensive portfolio, but as we said, he was no stranger to systematic trading. He also uses the $1 million database, which is the database that Unger Academy provides to their students. He has also developed other strategies using the Unger method and has been an extremely cautious trader. He's always on the lookout for new and valid systems, which he researches mainly on the internet. Bravo, Tommy! In my opinion, this is the right approach because, as always, study pays off. As for the type of systems, Tommy prefers mostly intraday systems. He has about 90 intraday strategies alongside 10% swing trading strategies. And for managing those strategies, for choosing which systems to keep active over the next month, he relies on Titan, our software which advises him on average to keep about 25 strategies active, 24 to be exact, over the last month. He has a well-diversified portfolio. Instruments used include energy and bonds, as well as index, futures and grains. And in terms of live performance, he's been live since February 2023. After the first month, which was a bit of a struggle, he was more than pleased with the returns. In terms of risk profile, I would describe him between intermediate and prudent, because his priority is definitely managing drawdowns. He confirmed to me that for portfolio management, although he has worked a lot on it, he tends to use the default parameters that we recommend for the Titan software. In response to my direct question, what advice would you give to someone starting live trading for the first time? Without hesitation, he told me, the right infrastructure setup. That was his initial difficulty, and I have to admit that this is a pretty critical and extremely important aspect that sometimes gets a little bit overlooked. We may focus on building systems and instead not give the proper attention to setting up the live infrastructure. Here at Unger Academy, we give it proper importance, because those of us who have been live in the markets for several years know how delicate this aspect is. Thank you, Tommy, for your availability, and congratulations again on your performance, because I must say that this is very rare to see such returns. Okay, if your goal is to achieve such returns as we've seen like Tommy and become the next trader of the month while earning 1,000 Amazon gift card, then click on the link below. You'll be redirected to a page where you'll find the contest rules. From there, if you like, you can schedule a free consultation with one of our tutors who will give you all the information you need. Finally, I'd like to remind you to support us by subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell and leaving a like if you enjoyed the video. See you again next month.